Good morning, everybody. It's Carpo, Josh. I'm making this video kind of in response to Gabriel's video. Gabriel Kundalini. He does some inspiring videos from around the world, and he reminds me a lot of my friend Tim and I, and the way that we tend to think about life, and kind of looking at it from a realistic perspective, but still having that sense of awe and wonder about the world that we live in. But he made a video yesterday, and it was entitled, Do We Need Teachers? Do we need spiritual teachers? And I've been thinking about it a little bit, because I made a video last year about the same subject. Do we need gurus? Or be your own guru, something like that. After considering it for a while, I realized we all need direction, from one another. We have, if you want to picture yourself growing up, imagine you were born in an environment with maybe other people around, but no one who had any desire to search for anything beyond this life, or no desire to look anywhere below the surface, and say you were the only one. You might build some ideas about what life's important, what's important to you, but you still wouldn't be able to build really a very round idea of what's important for humanity, because you'd be the only one. I guess what I'm saying is that we do need teachers, in the sense that there are leaders, there are followers. Some people are good at teaching, some people are good at listening, but even the teachers need to be taught. So if you look at it like school, that would be like saying, do we need teachers to learn school? So there are a few people out there who could grab the books and do it themselves. But without a teacher there to apply some of the ideas and some of the formulating problems behind the issues, you might miss something important. Someone who's been through the experience to say, oh, well, you won't probably need this math, but you might need this math, or this history won't do you very much good, but you might need this. And in the sense of spiritual teachers, I think that a lot of people need that direction. They need to see that other people have found something outside of the, I guess, the physical, material world that we live in. And I've found mine. I've found my path, my way to seek these things, and mine is through logic and reason. But I also talk to the universe. I talk to the stars. I say prayers. I put in my effort, and it may be in vain, but the reason why I do the things I do is based on not just solely my experience, but the experience of others. And no matter how much we want to think that we're independent, or that our thoughts are our own and only our own, they're always devised by the way that we were raised, or those around us in our environment. And for example, no person would just be born a Buddhist if they didn't learn Buddhism. No person would be born and just become a politician without learning how to twist the system to benefit them. I won't go into that. But people need direction, and sometimes by watching others to see where others have failed and succeeded, that's how we can see which path to take. At least that's how I see it. And this is, as an example, this is why I have approached logic a certain way. And I like to do rational thinking as much as I can about issues. And rather than say, well, this is the answer, I devise my own answer. Try to figure out exactly why I would believe this. And it's really hard to break away from the mold of what we're told and what we think and what we suppose. But if we don't have some sort of an idea of what has worked for others, then we won't know what's going to work for us. Now, that's not always true. I mean, a person can find their own path. But if you look back through history, let me take an example. If I were to look at a group of Christians and say, okay, this could be one religion to aspire to, right? Or one path. And so, rather than looking at how intensely people feel, or how strongly people feel about what they believe, I asked myself a couple questions like, okay, what is the rational belief for the Bible that is being used? But on top of that, are these people happy? And this is really the biggest key in my understanding of, I guess, my version of understanding of life. Is I look around at the groups of people who claim that they have the path, and then I ask myself, are they happy? Are they pushing themselves on others, or are they really content? Are they doing well in life, or are they griping and grumbling? And this goes within every culture, all political systems as well. We tend to think that they're working for us, but they don't often work for everyone. But as long as they're working for the individual, people tend to kind of just say, okay, well, this works for me, so other people can find their own way. So what happens if what you believe conflicts with everyone else? Then you have to go back and think about it again. And by doing this, we become self-teachers. And we teach ourselves through our perseverance. There's nothing harder than wanting to believe something, seeing absolutely no evidence for it, and then having to say, well, that's not going to work for me. Or something that you may have believed before that you don't believe anymore. And to keep yourself open to an extent. I guess what I'm saying is, at what point do you settle down and say, this is my path, this is what I'm going to do? I could never become a full-time Buddhist, let's say, and practice Buddhism, because many of the practices don't coincide with my way of life, or don't feel necessary to me. And I've looked at all the different religions that way. And then I went through all the political classes that way. Do I want to be an independent? Or do I want to be a Green Party? Do I want to be a Democrat or Republican? And none of those, because there's always parts of it, after doing my homework, that don't work. So we pick little bits and pieces out of everything to make our own belief system. We all do it. I mean, even if you're a full-blown Christian, you're still going to have your particular belief on Christianity, and it's going to be different from others. And if you are a Republican, you're going to have some left-wing views. And if you're a Democrat, you're going to have some right-wing views. And, politics and religion always come up because those are the two big ones people tend to, get hung up on. And as far as the teachers go, I think there's nothing wrong with seeking out a guru or somebody who's wiser. They can tell you your path. Not your path, but how to start your path and how to go on your own path. The one thing you should always think about with a teacher is, if you have a teacher should never tell you the way to be. A teacher should always allow you to flower in your own direction. All a teacher's there is to put you on track and say, oh, you're falling out of your ways, and to maybe give you some insight. But Confucius said, no man should teach till he's at least 50. I've heard that from a lot of people, and I believe that strongly. And I've seen those around me, folks that are much younger than me, who are very, very wise and intelligent and know a lot about a particular subject, or two or three or four, but sometimes they miss the boat on some of the simple things, like just being a courteous human, or pushing their thoughts on others, or even the other extreme, which is, instead of pushing your opinions on others, it's to say, well, everyone's opinion is okay and everyone has their own way, and just to say there is no real logical way to believe in anything. And then you get into this whole idea that everything's an illusion. That illusion world is bogus, because regardless of whether we're in a dream or we're in an illusion, here we are, we're living as far as we know. And we want to know how to live better. We want to know how to be better people. A lot of us do. And we want to know how to get past making mistakes, get past trying to defend ourselves, or trying to poke at others, or allow ourselves to be poked at. But really understand the information at hand. Understand the root of where our opinions come from. I hear a lot of people repeating things that they've said over and over, and I find, or that they've heard over and over, whether it be from news or from parents or from teachers. And whenever I find myself doing that, I step back and say, wait a minute, I'm making the same mistake. So I'm hoping that in another 15, 20 years I will be able to be a teacher and feel confident enough doing that. But what I mean by don't teach until over 50 is that you can teach. You can teach subjects, you know. You can teach particular subjects, mathematics, sciences. But to teach a person how to live, it takes a lot of ego to think that you have a better way to live than someone else. And I never think that my way is better than others. I've been misunderstood by some people who have said that I claim that, you know, that my way is the best and everybody else is wrong. That's not it at all. I'm actually the opposite. I think everyone's path is great as long as it doesn't cause conflict between individuals. As soon as we get angry, then it's not working. So when I find myself getting angry, I step back and ask myself why. And over the years, I've learned to not get angry. I don't get mad when people have a conflicting or a different opinion from me. I express myself, but I don't get mad because I don't have time for that anger. You know, it's a waste of energy, and I think we all know that. But having a teacher, I think it's really individual. I think some people really need that direction. They don't know where to go or what to do. For me, I'm very reluctant. You know, I'm stubborn in the sense that I'll listen to a teacher, but if they're teaching me things that I don't agree with, I'm going to express that, and I guess you could call that stubbornness or independence, but I like to watch the paths, all the different paths, as they unfold, all the different people going their ways and learning things, and through a lifetime of observing that, one can actually learn how to say, this might work and this might not for you, based on what I've seen in my life. And only that wisdom of life experience can bring that. So it doesn't matter how much you learn or how smart you think you are, only with age comes that ability to distinguish between them. I hope. I don't know, I'm not old enough yet. That's all I got for that. Look at the sun. It's coming in. It's going to be beautiful.